Okay, I'm going to call it to order, I think. You want to do the roll call, Gina?
Arnold,
Here.
Beckwith,
Here.
Farcapisi, absent. Flores, absent. Kotsinis,
Here.
Hamilton,
Here.
Sutton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. The Warren Newport Public Library District provides the community with access to information, kindles the imagination of children and adults, and supports lifelong learning. Would anyone like to speak in public comment? Okay. Any correspondence?
No, we don't have any.
Okay. Anyone want to remove anything from the consent? Okay. Who'd like to make a motion?
I move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Okay, let's see. President's report. 23, page 23. Not a lot to discuss. Anyone else have a report?
I do have one item of note. Next Tuesday, I believe that's the 24th, the, the Exchange Club of Gurnee is hosting its annual Salad in the Park. So if anyone's interested in going, it's 11 o'clock to, I think, 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock, somewhere in there.
Is it at Viking?
It is not at Viking this year. They moved it to Warren Township Center
Oh,
instead.
that's right. I remember you saying that. I just couldn't remember where it was. Oh, okay.
Anyone else? Okay, Brian.
Executive Director's Report's on page 24. Just something to note, we've added a community engagement section in the report that starts on page 24 in administration. Another thing I want to, since we've taken off library operations and mass mandate update, I just wanted to mention to the board that I am watching the COVID levels here in Lake County. We've seen a dramatic increase in COVID cases this past week. We've had some issues ourselves with some COVID cases, but we've managed. So it's something that we continue to keep an eye on. And I think we'll wait to see what happens if it gets to high and if we need to take any action. I told the management team on Monday that I think I would never take anything off the table, but it'll probably a challenge if it does get to high. We decide we want to enforce that with the public. I know it's going to be a challenge for us to do, but
Yeah.
we'll see if we get there.
With masks again.
Yeah, with masks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's unfortunate. Noreen's retirement celebration, which was she didn't want to have a public event. It was a event with staff, past and present staff. Was a great event. Pat Lasinski, former director of WNPL, surprised her by flying in, and that was cool. So, yeah, it was really great. It was.
I forget where he is now.
He's Columbus Metropolitan
Oh,
Public
okay.
Library. So I reached out to him thinking he might do a video to say, just to say a few words, and he's like, "Well, I kind of like to fly in for it."
Wow, that is awesome.
Just a really, really nice guy. Stephen Barrow was there too. Said a lot of kind words about Noreen. Alex, her son, was able to Zoom in and join us live on the cover touch. That was great. Yeah, it was just a really wonderful event. A lot of great WNPL alums like Patty Salwin and Debbie Hoffman. I'm sure I'm forgetting. There's a lot of people. Janet Colwell. A lot of people. I'm sure I'm forgetting. And it was nice. We did a nice a couple of cool gifts. The admin team. And I gotta give Eddie, who's here, a lot of credit for it. Put together this. Noreen and her husband like to do these burger tours, like to go around and try different burgers, and we put together like a map of burgers.
Wow, that's cool.
And Doug Whiteberg gave Noreen a framed. We've got a folder to sign off on POs, and he framed it, gave it to Noreen as a gift. So it's pretty great. So it was a nice event. It was really nice. So that's not obviously in the report, but I wanted to mention that. So.
Nice send off. Yeah.
So any questions about anything here?
It's so odd not to hear her in a meeting, too. I mean,
Yeah.
she's always here. I just wanted to say, we talked about it today on the phone, but I thought this community engagement list was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. So,
Yeah.
okay, anything else on this then? Do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. Are there any other
Okay.
questions? I'm looking, summer reading, sign up is going on now. It starts June 1st. I'm excited about that. We're gonna go for 1 million minutes again. I know the staff, they're really excited about it. I'm excited about it. So it's right around the corner.
Yeah,
So if there's time, go to the references and sign up.
cool.
Okay,
Already signed up?
Yeah.
of course.
I did it on the app.
Okay, anything further?
I just wondered if the adult male that was given the suspension for wearing socks, not wearing socks and shoes was during the really, really hot week.
Yeah, Joe asked me about that, and that's something that I talked a little bit to Felix about. And it was one of those situations that got escalated because this
Yeah.
is someone that wasn't complying, and unfortunately, the police had to be called. But I'm certainly open to, it's one of those things that I know we struggled with in the past, because when and I don't know the situation with this particular patron, but we have some patrons that 99% of the time are just great individuals, and maybe they've got some issues, and then sometimes they have a bad day, and, trying to be compassionate, while at the same time trying to enforce policy. So I think that's always, something we need to work on and figure out. So,
It's funny, I was thinking about that when I saw that the police had to be called, and I wonder if there was a way to de-escalate some of that before that happens. I'm sure you go there and try that, but it must have gotten out of control.
yeah. Well, it's one of those situations, go back and after action and see how we can do a better job of it, so, yeah.
Okay, our budget.
Yeah, I don't have a lot for this evening. I just wanted to give an update that it looks, the big piece of the puzzle in terms of putting the budget together for me is that engineering report about our system, and that looks like we're gonna get something, maybe later this week, but it looks like next week for sure. So when we come back and talk about the budget at the June committee of the whole, we'll have a lot to talk about. We'll be able to look at the 10-year capital plan, we'll be able to look at the latest budget projection, and then we'll be able to, more solidify some budget pieces. So that's kind of that's a quick update. Just, there's not a lot of new information since we last met, but it's something we're working on. And it's going to be interesting too, because some things that are in this year's budget, it definitely looks like they're not going to get here on time. So for example, one of the switches we want to replace, it's very unlikely that's going to get here in this fiscal year. So we might have to look at shifting some things that are in this year's budget to next fiscal year. And that's just the way it is these days. I mean, the supply chain issues. There was, we met with our sales rep from OSG, or the IT vendor we work with, and he was telling us, I think it was, they ordered a piece of equipment in August of last year, and now they're expecting it to come in November. I mean, that's how crazy it is with supply chain issues with certain equipment, so. Any other
Questions? Okay, financials. So I was just looking at my phone. Andrea couldn't be here tonight, and we talked today, and she said she would send me if she had any concerns. And I did not hear from her, so I assume she does not have concerns. Just, so if whatever people's questions are, go ahead. Anyone?
The only question I had was on the variance report. Our natural gas budget, of course, has been blown out of the water. Are we planning to increase that for next year?
Yeah, we have adjusted the budget to reflect the new realities of energy costs, I guess you could say.
Anything else? All right, who would like to make the motion?
I I move that the monthly financial statements for March 2022 be approved as presented.
I'll second that. Any further discussion?
Hamilton,
Aye.
sorry, you,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say my name.
oh, no, I thought you were gonna say
Oh, no,
something,
no.
no? Okay,
No.
sorry. Katsinis,
Aye.
Sutton,
Aye.
Flores, absent. Arnold,
Aye.
Farkapisi, absent. Beckwith,
Aye.
ayes have it.
Okay. Returning to the boardroom.
Yeah, and maybe this is something we want to put on pause in light of the
Yeah.
rise of the COVID numbers. And I'm certainly not pushing for it, but I think one of the things we wanted to, we were talking about, so historically with summer reading with these meeting rooms, we do not open these rooms up for the public, for public events, but we are eyeing in the fall, trying to have this be a community space where the public can come in. And so thinking about, okay, adjusting things, moving things around, it makes sense to make it easier for the facilities team to move these meetings back to the boardroom. But I wanted to see how the board felt about that, if the board feels it's too soon for that, because it's obviously pretty close quarters compared to this space. And I'm completely open to whatever the board wants to do. I don't have a strong preference one or the other. So.
What
I
do you
wanted to see
think?
How the board felt.
I like the boardroom. The meeting room is more comfortable there, but that is up to everyone else. The only one comment
I know. Neither has
Well, that's
Celeste.
not true. We did the orientation, I think, in the boardroom. So I've been in it once.
When you came and had a tour with Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that
Yes.
doesn't really count. Well, I shouldn't say that, but that's not,
I haven't been
two
to a
people in the room.
meeting in the
There.
boardroom.
Yeah, correct. Mhm.
Yeah, the only one comment I'll make about the boardroom is it is, at least some of the technology in there is getting dated. The screens, the connections don't really work with modern anything anymore.
Hmm.
Something to consider at some point, not necessarily right now, but
You're getting some agreement over there in the tech corner.
Agreeing with you for sure.
well, my thoughts are not just for us. I would like to see at some point the boardroom be turned into something that we can use as a reservable space. Especially as you start getting more people, more business members in the community that need local meeting rooms. Specifically for hybrid type scenarios where they can be both virtual and physically present.
Yeah.
Our meeting room is by no means set up for that right now. But something we might want to consider eventually.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think when was that ultimately complete? Was that part of the last renovation, like 2011, 2012, circa 2011, 2012?
No, I believe most of that room was skipped during that time.
Was it? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
it makes
I think it
sense.
was, too.
Even if it was done then, you're right. I mean, technology's changed so much with the different connections, people use their devices and trying to do, like, I don't think they ever envisioned doing like a Zoom type meeting in that space when they designed it, which isn't I think at the time it made sense what they
Oh,
did.
sure,
but-
it didn't exist, yeah.
But yeah.
Costs for that technology have come down a lot in the last, especially in the last 2 years. So it's something we might want to consider.
Well, that makes sense, George, because if we just use it twice a month, what else goes on in
Yeah,
here?
although,
In non-COVID years, I guess, what else goes on?
right. The last few times I've gone in there, though, there's things in there that don't really belong in there, too. I don't know if it's like that now.
Yeah, there's
There
definitely
were-
things in there that
yeah,
don't belong
okay,
in there.
so
Yeah,
if
we've
we
got,
wanted to go back, we-
book bins we needed when we
Yeah.
were quarantining things that we
Yeah,
need to find
so
homes
that would
for.
need to be,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in general, though, it's used a lot for staff meetings and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But it would be
Okay.
nice to, yeah, I think there's always a demand for public space.
okay, so I'm hearing that, tell me if I'm right, that we're going to put this on hold for a little while longer and reconsider it in a few more months, when numbers are better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Items for next time? Anything that's not on here?
For some reason, the budget is not on here, to approve the budget, and, we always try to have it done by the end of the fiscal year in June.
Got it? Anything else?
I don't know, I think there might be a typo on the fund balance. I think
On what?
it's on the policy number. I'm just double checking.
Oh, okay. I have 2003 on my notes from before.
This says 2033.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's,
have 2003.
Yeah,
Do you think
that's
that's right?
correct,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I didn't notice that on the agenda. Okay, I move that the board enter into executive session 5 ILCS 120/2C1 to review the performance of a specific employee of a public body.
With Director Livergood.
Yes, with Director Livergood present.
Sorry, I didn't have that in there.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain. Okay.
What time is it?
Okay, what time is it? 47? Yeah. And we're back in session. Anyone want to speak in public forum? Okay. Any other announcements besides what's on here? Anyone? All right, who would like to move to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. All right. Thank you.
7:48.
Yep.